All major democracies, whether of the parliamentary or presidential variety, practice redistricting. Redistricting in simple terms means redrawing the borders of constituencies, and that is done primarily to reflect the changing population of various parts of the country. Some states may grow faster or slower than others. States whose populations have grown faster get more seats. States whose populations have grown slower get fewer seats. Within the state, some areas may have grown faster or slower than others, so the borders of the seats have to be drawn as well. Redistricting, or delimitation as we call it in India, attempts to ensure that the number of voters in every district or constituency in the country is nearly equal. The US House of Representatives is probably the best example of redistricting. After every decennial census, the 435 seats in the US House are reallocated among states depending upon changes in population that have taken place since the previous census, and then the seat boundaries are drawn within those states. Between the 2010 and 2020 censuses, certain states such as Texas and Florida are at the top of the gainers list. Other states that have gained a seat each are North Carolina, Colorado, Oregon, and Montana. The losers come mainly from the two coasts. California has lost a seat for the first time ever. The other losers are New York and Rust Belt states like Pennsylvania and Michigan, and the Midwestern state of Illinois. This actually reflects a population shift in the US to states with warmer climates, with no state income tax, and beneficial industrial policies that attract industry and people to move there. Now that the number of seats has changed in various states, how does the redrawing of the borders of constituencies within those states? In the US, it is left to each state, and each state makes its own rules, and that has been so for over 200 years. So each state tries to draw the constituency boundaries in a manner which suits the party in power. This is called gerrymandering and has its origins more than 200 years ago. So where does this word gerrymander come from? Well, here is the brief history. In 1812, when Elbridge Gerry was the governor of Massachusetts, the redistricting map that was drawn was incredibly partisan to benefit his party. The map had inexplicably shaped boundaries, including one like a salamander. So put Gerry and salamander together and you get gerrymander. Many states draw constituency maps in a hyper-partisan way which ensure that their party gets an unfair advantage. These borders have no logical shape. They could be circular, triangle-like, fish-like, or run through a narrow border between two other constituencies. No shape is ruled out. Also, these borders are often drawn to ensure the dilution of the voting power of the opposition parties and minorities such as blacks and Latinos. These minorities communities often live in concentrated pockets. In order to weaken their political clout through gerrymandering, they are spread across several constituencies with the smaller parts of the electorate. According to the non-partisan Brennan Center, since the latest census in 2020, the Republicans disproportionately control the redistricting process, drawing 191 of the districts that can be used in this year's elections. By contrast, the Democrats fully controlled the drawing of only 75 districts. The rest were drawn by commissions, courts, or divided governments. In some cases of egregious gerrymandering, the courts have stepped in to ensure relatively fairer maps. On the other hand, courts in many states have declared that these are political questions that they have no authority to address. Three major outlets handicap the races for all 435 House seats using a combination of reporting and electoral data. Races in the House are becoming increasingly uncompetitive. In 2022, the vast majority of seats were decided by large margins or were uncontested. In only 36 seats out of 435 was the margin of victory less than 5%. This is a continuing reality in the current House. They reckon that this year in 2024, about 90% of the seats in the House are deemed uncompetitive. Of this uncompetitive 390 to 400 seats, 37 seats are uncontested, in the sense that only one major party is on the ballot in the seat. According to the Cook Political Report, 174 seats are solidly Democrat and 192 solidly Republican. If you include seats that are likely or lean seats, Democrats end up with 202 seats and Republicans 206. And then there are the 27 seats that can go either way. As a result of severe political polarization and gerrymandering, we have reached a stage where 27 seats, that is just over 6% of the House, are truly in contention. A sorry state for a democracy.